Chairman Hastings and Representative Markey, Ranking Member. I always, as a frustrated tailback, I always wanted this opportunity, an opportunity that NFL running backs have had for a number of years, and that's to follow my colleague, Mr. Runyon. And I get my wish, not exactly the way I had planned it, but hopefully there's a little hole I want to hit that I think we can all agree on and maybe get some yardage on. And that's one of the issues that's plaguing the fishing industry, which is so often complex issues and so often, unfortunately, divisive issues. But we sit here this morning, I think, in full agreement of a common crisis facing fishermen from Massachusetts to North Carolina, and it's the urgent need for increased research, hard scientific data in order to implement fair and effective fisheries management policies. I'm not here to debate the effectiveness of these policies. On the contrary, I'll speak on the first bill that I introduced as a member of Congress, and that's a bill to, I always love these things, the Strengthen Fisheries Management New England Act of 2011. But the bill is simple, and I think it really accomplishes a couple of important purposes. It reroutes funds collected through penalties imposed by NOAA, the National Oceanic, I always do this, but the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, to the improvement of national New England fisheries. And what's currently the law now is that the fines that are collected by the fishermen who have violated or allegedly violated marine resource laws be invested in NOAA's Asset Forfeiture Fund. As we've already heard in previous testimonies, that NOAA and the Asset Forfeiture Fund have been subjects of a wide range of accusations and investigations into the abuse and misuse of these funds. Just last year, the Department of Commerce Inspector General found that these abuses included the use of monies in the Asset Forfeiture Fund to buy cars for federal agents, to cover trips and conferences to exotic and distant locations, and even to purchase $300,000 luxury vessel used by government employees. It was subsequently determined that NOAA did not regularly audit these funds and couldn't disclose precisely how much of these asset forfeiture funds were spent. I introduced this bill in order to really right these wrongs, and that's one of the benefits of the bill, and restore trust in our government with the proper oversight. But the bill directs the Secretary of Commerce to provide New England Fisheries Management Council with the funds collected by NOAA as fines and penalties from New England's fishermen to be used directly towards improving the research and management of our region's most valuable resource. The New England Fisheries and Management Council is charged under the Magnuson-Stevens Act to manage fisheries in the federal waters of New England, and each year it identifies research and monitoring priorities, most of which lack adequate funding. In order to make sound management decisions, the Council has to increase the capacity to address these gaps in knowledge, and the Strengthening Fisheries and Management New England Act, I believe, will do this. And it will allow them to make better and more informed decisions that balance the continued protection of the marine ecosystem with the need for strong, profitable fishing businesses in coastal communities. One of the most critical parts of this is it doesn't increase federal spending. Rather, the bill redirects existing funds. In this way, the monies will be there to support many fishing-related jobs crucial for the economic health of our region, all of which depend on sound resource management. There have been a few measures this session that have received such broad partisan support, and this is one of them, I think, that stands out. This is an area where we deal with the issue of asset forfeiture, and we deal with the issue of the lack of adequate funding for science. We can do two things at the same time and protect our fishing industry in this respect. I think that we had a hearing in Boston just recently where it was actually the U.S. Senate Commerce Subcommittee, and we were invited in, Representative Frank, myself, Representative Tierney from Massachusetts, and Senator Brown with Senator Bagich and Senator Kerry. And we talked about the troubles with NOAA, and really almost all of that focused on the lack of research and science. Here's an opportunity with no extra expenditures of money to take the inherent conflicts that there and proven to be there with the investigations on the asset forfeiture accounts, and to alleviate that conflict, and then take the funds and use it somewhere where we can help our fishing industry. I really think there's no real reason not to move in that direction. It's just good common sense and accomplishes two important gains, I think, on the fishing industry. So with that, I'd like to ask you to consider this. I think it's something that we could move ahead on in an area where there's often division. And I'd like to take my last 20 seconds also to indicate my support for a bill I co-sponsored with my colleague, Mr. Frank, from Massachusetts, H.R. 2610. I think these issues can be dealt with. In many respects, it's unfortunate that they rest on the doorstep of Congress because they're not dealt with in other areas. But we're fortunate to have a Congress that will bear into to their mindset these important issues and look at it more objectively. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
I thank the gentleman very much.